Yo, what's up? This is Leo coming back. I just wanted to give a shout out to all my brazies that looked out for me when I was in my situation at Wayside Supermax. Yeah, last year I got pulled over and I had a warrant for a assault and battery that I caught in Santa Barbara, like in 2010. So this was like 7 years old or something like that, right? So I got pulled over and the officer was like, let me see your ID. And I was like, I didn't have none of that on me. So, I wasn't tripping because, I'm ex-military. So, I wasn't tripping off of it. So he's like, let me see your registration and your insurance. So that's legit. He pulled it out. And he was like, oh, man, I'm going to have to arrest you. So after that, I ain't got nothing to talk about. You get me? Like, all right. So then I gave all my ID and my credit cards and stuff to my baby mama because she was with me, her and my son. And so the officer arrested me, and then I spent the weekend in their local facility, with a no bail hold. You get me? Like, damn. So I couldn't get bailed out. So I spent the weekend walking in circles in my cell. I probably did about 10, 20 miles and about, I don't know how many push-ups just right there. And so then after that, like on the Monday early, they take you to LA LA downtown processing center. So, I was in there. Then the crazy thing about it is like on that day when they took me, which is Monday, they process you in and all that, and then they put you in these like a holding cell. You just hop in cell to cell. So I was in a cell, and then it got to getting full. So it's like a cell probably meant for like 20 people, and it's like 50 people in there. And so I was like, it's like people laying down and everything. And like me, I'm like, yo, I ain't going to sleep with around all these motherfuckers. Like, hell nah. So I stood up. And then like it was so many farting that, man, it sounded like the film harp. That's how the fart sounded up in that motherfucker. So it's like I stood by the door like where I could just get me a little air, and I stood right there the whole time. And shout out to my boy P. Wood Joe. This is a ex-military dude that he from like Boston. And so he's up in there, and then, he's ex-military. So, he was like tweaking and shit. I could tell he was like just coming down off that shit. So he looked at me, he's like, yo, I'm gonna lay down here and go to sleep. Keep an eye on me. I was like, I got your back, bro, because I wasn't going to sleep up in that motherfucker. No way. So, I don't know. I spent the night in there, and then they put me in these cells. They call them Tetris cells, where it's like you in a cell by yourself, but it's like one dude up and one dude down. So I spent the night or two in a cell like that. And then I went to court or something like that, I think, or, and the crazy thing is I had to get bused. And it's just when you get transported, you go like on the freeway. That's when you just see the wildest stuff. It's like you going this thing, and then they like, you going to this. And so I caught my shit in Santa Barbara, so my shit said SB. So when you can see me, I'm a American, but I'm a black American. So they automatically assume SB is Santa Barbara. So I'm like, they throw me into the San Bernardino. So they throw me in the transport for San Bernardino. So it's like, it's going on in there. Like, I seen one dude, he had a letter like to his girl, and it was like in his shirt. And then some niggas came in to DP him. And then he was like, yo, dude, if I don't make it, make sure my girl get this letter. He said that to me. I was like, damn. So they came, they sweat him, and then he stood up like a man, and they didn't give him the business. And so I get out to SB, San Bernardino, And then I get off the bus and I go to court, and then the court lady like, you know, you supposed to be. I was like, I told him, the motherfucker, I was like, yo, I told him, get your ass out of my court. And so I go back, and then I end up having to go to Wayside, Supermax. So I'm like, what's Wayside Supermax? Like, what I do? You get me? So I end up going to Wayside Supermax to wait for my court date. Now my court date is like on my paper, I got a no bail hold. My court date is like next year. You get me? Like, I'm like, damn, I'm being Supermax for like 6 months. Like, damn. So, you know, when I get to Supermax, shout out to all my brazies that looked out for me. Alabama Gooch, Big Gooch. Shout out, my nigga. I appreciate you, bro, for looking out for OG. You know, when you get to like Wayside Supermax, it's like partitioned off. That's when you really see like what's going on. You know, like all the races is divided, and like what I had noticed was like the Asians typically gonna roll with like the black dudes, and then like Japanese gonna roll with like Latins, and then like, you know, it's like Anglo-Saxon Protestants. They, you know, they standing on their own, and they roll with the Latins that ain't got no tattoos, you know, wetbacks, for lack of a better term. I ain't knocking nobody, you know. I just that's you know. And so when I get there, I'm an older cat, and so, you know, I think the first thing, like, every day these groups is looking at, is like, yo, this dude gonna squad for his if it go down. So, you know, the first night, they put me on a bottom bunk, far over there, and far away from, like, it's like a dorm leader type of dude. And then, you know, they all in their corner, like, cause they know, like, yo, if it go down, we gonna turn back to back and squad for ours. So they got this thing called programming, where you get up and you work out and all that. So we woke up in the morning, we start programming. They see me kicking, they see me program. They was like, oh, OG got hands. And then that's when they start calling me like, OG got hands. So they moved my bed spot to closer to them. You get what I'm saying? Right? Like, soon as we finished programming, my boy Big Gooch, he a brazy. He was like, yo, G, you gonna bunk right here? Right? So I'm like right there. So like every day, you know, you get up, and then I wasn't taking no showers and shit. Like the first 3 days, I ain't take no shower. I was like, I ain't shit. What I'm taking a shower for? I mean, fuck that. So then Big Gooch, he be like giving people haircuts and fixing their, you know, all that kind of stuff. And he's like, he pulled me over. He's like, yo, OG got hands, nigga. You funky, man. You need to take a motherfucking shower up in this motherfucker, man. I'm put hands on you if you don't take no shower. And this nigga like 6'4". I was like, damn, I don't know parts of him right now in this situation. So I was like, yo, let me take a shower and, you know, shower up and whatnot. And so, you know, when you get a turn to take a shower. So when my shower turn came up, I went and showered up and all that. And then they give you like assignments to clean up, you know. So when you older, they give you a soft assignment, like, you know, clean up the phones, wash off the tables and stuff like that. So I told the brazies up in there, I was like, yo, bro, you don't have to, I could Superman. And so when you Superman, you gotta like do these like Superman things to clean up the floor. So I had regular detail. I was like an old dude that had regular detail. And so it wasn't nothing to me. I was like, yo, I'm in it to win it. And so like my boy, I can't even remember his name, something like Blue, Loco Blue or something like that. He was from Compton, and so he was pretty cool. And then it was another young dude that another brazy that he man, I never forget, dude. He used to trade me that Tapatio for my grape jelly. And all I really wanted to eat in there was carrots, grape jelly, and eggs. You know, all the rest of the stuff I ain't even eat. I trade it off. Like, yo, you want some peanut butter? Here. You want some bread? You know, I ain't eat none of that. I was cool on it. And water, you know, and like everybody would go and get, it was this hot water machine. So everybody would go and get hot water and drink. I was like, yo, I just drank faucet water. I was like, yo, I'm with it. I lived in Africa. I drank African water. So I made it this far. So they used to be like, yo, OG got hands is loco. He's like, yo, bro, you just drink the water out the faucet? I was like, yeah, dog. I mean, damn, I mean, look at what we in. Look at the situation we in. You know what I'm saying? So, days in, one of the sheriffs that be watching you up in there, he was like, bro, wasn't you in the military? Because they be checking your records and stuff. I was like, yeah, I was in the military. He's like, what you doing here? He's like, yo, you supposed to be in a 500. I was like, what's a 500? I mean, like, I don't know. You supposed to be in a 500 dorm. So I got an appointment to see my military adjunct, right? So I went, and first you go and you see like some people, and there was some fine females in there. I was like, that was the first fine females I seen. They was like, you know, I was like, damn. I was like telling a girl, like, you fine to the motherfucker. You feel me? Like, I'm just trying to take time just to stare up and down at this fine female. You get me? And so she was like, you know, she went over my military record and this and that. She's like, oh, you're gonna have an appointment with your military adjunct tomorrow. I was like, wow. So the next day, I was in there with this crazy dude too. His name is Loquito. He's like from Florencia 13's Loquito. You get it? So the next day I go and see my military adjunct. He was like, bro, what you doing here? I was like, I don't know. He's like, man, whoop, whoop, whoop. And then the next thing I know, like the next day, right after I seen my military adjunct, it was like, gee, roll it up. I was like, damn. So I rolls it up, and then when you roll it up, you got to go back to LA to be processed out. So on the way in, I had they give you a psychological evaluation, right? And I didn't say nothing. It was like this, that. I was like, I ain't got nothing to say. I serve my country. Every question they asked me, I was like, yo, I serve my country. I serve my country. So on the way out, I had to get another psychological eval. So I go to the second psychological eval. The lady was like, yo, you know, they saying you got psychological this, that. I told the lady, like, look, Kedukodi Anamabia said that most of the people that's in there is Nigerians. The doctor, all of them is African, Nigerians, all that. Shout out to this one Yoruba dude who gave me my number and my code so I could make phone calls. I was like, I spoke to him in his dialect. I was like, Kilo Day. He was like, huh? I was like, Kilo Wilanfu. And then we got to talking, and he just gave me the number. He was like, yo, you know, Yoruba dude. Shout out to him. He was a sheriff. He looked out for me. He gave me my phone. And but like I said, you know, on the way out, this African lady, she was like, same shit. I was like, Kedu Kodi, I don't mind. You know, she was like, what's up with you? She was like, look, I ain't had nothing to say to that lady. I'm ex-military. I ain't got nothing to say to nobody. I don't even know why I'm here. She was like, ain't nothing wrong with you, boy. Get out of here. Right? And that was it. So I go into the house, you know, you go back into the little cells, and then they telling you where you go, you know, like niggas going to Wasco, Delano, to all kind of places. And then it was this one young dude, he had like caught a murder beef. And then when they gave my clothes, he knew what kind of Jordans I had. He's like, dude, that's the Jordan. He's like, yo, man, what you gonna do with those? I was like, man, here, take these little raggedy ass Jordans and take the socks too, homie. You know, you stretched out forever. I was like, I'm gonna see plenty more pair of Jordans, G. And so he had caught like a double murder. So, you know, I hope you're doing fine, bro. You know, stand firm. You know, everybody get caught in a crazy situation, man, you know. But I ended up going home, and when they released me late at night. I didn't have no money, nothing on me, so I just started walking home. And then there was this one Mexican dude who I was in there with, and he was like the kind of Latin with no tattoos, and we spoke Spanish the whole time. Yo puedo hablar español igual que inglés. So dude, he ended up giving me $5 because he didn't have his lady put some money on his books. He gave me $5, and then, you know, I bought food with that, and then I walked home. So that's how